Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We got a great show lined up for you. I'm Harvey Free. To my right, Harry Glanz.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Harvey Free. Glad to be here on this fine Saturday, cloudy Canadian wildfire morning. It's wonderful, Harvey, but you know what? Commerce is being done, business is being done. The market's still hot. We have Michelle Saward in here. She'll be introduced properly. But we got to talk about the market because right now, the market, everybody wants to say that there's more houses in the market. I think the demand around here locally, there might be nationally, but locally, I'm just not seeing it. But maybe Michelle can take us right down that road right now.
Hey, good morning. Yes.
Michelle Saward, of course, Becky Alley brings in Michelle this morning from eXp Realty, you downriver folks, always making your way up here.
Yeah.
Nice to get you off the river and out of Lake Erie. And Becky, you were coming.
Off the river.
In a van
down by the river.
Becky, you came all the way up from Kentucky. Where are you? In Tennessee?
Tennessee. I literally got out of the car.
Knoxville.
Yeah, I was in Knoxville, Tennessee. I literally got out of the car last night at like 11:30, and I missed the whole like initial wildfire. So I was like, oh my god, this is really bad. Everyone's like, nope, you missed the worst of it. So I mean, that was pretty serious.
Well, yeah, I was feeling really lucky. I woke up this morning and I saw...
It feels better today.
I was like, let's give a shout out to seeing the perimeter of the clouds. I was like, this is good. Like I saw a little bit of blue sky. I saw them driving in through Dearborn and I was like feeling very hopeful that this is the end.
Well, I feel like the rain helped a little bit last night.
Yeah, maybe. But now I'm hearing it ain't over.
Well, we'll talk all morning about housing, what's going on out there,
clouds.
some great opportunities out there. Of course, I got a buddy in from out of town, and just like I always say about folks in Michigan, if they start driving up north, we get the calls. We get the call on Monday morning. Hey, I'm buying a place up north. Well, sure enough, my buddy from California's in. Now he wants to buy a lake house here, locally, and he loves the vibes. You know, something about Michigan. These people that move out of state, when they come back to town, they miss it. It's the food, it's the culture, it's the people. And lots of great real estate opportunities on all sorts of different price ranges.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful here. I mean, really, you can't go wrong with Michigan. I mean, you got such great diversity. You got everything from city to like super rural country, trees, lakes every 20 minutes, any direction. Isn't that what they say about Michigan? I mean, we're the Great Lakes state, but other than that, even inland lakes, you can't go 20 minutes drive in any direction without hitting something.
Well, especially like with someone like you, though, Michelle, like you're so well traveled. You have been across the nation. So, right. So when you speak like that, it's like we really have been places where we can attest to that. And that's why like there's a reason why Michigan is our home. And there's a reason why people are coming from the outside in, because they're understanding that not only are we affordable, but we are vast. We are beautiful. You can drive 3 hours up north and feel like you're in the Caribbean if you're on Higgins Lake or Torch Lake or something like that. And people do want to get a piece of this real estate that obviously we know they're not making more land.
No, they're not making more land. Yeah. Actually, you just led me right into what I wanted to talk about today.
Let's talk about it, Michelle.
All right, let's talk about it. So, what is it? Today's the last week, whatever, on the 11th.
Whatever day today is.
Whatever day today is.
18th.
Yeah. Today's, okay.
It's the last Saturday.
So 7 days ago, that's what I was trying to say, or whatever-ish, on the 11th, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. The Road to Housing Act was passed. I don't know if the world is hearing about this, because we're hearing about it.
Sort of quiet about it.
Oh, really? Okay. We're hearing about it in a big way. It was one of the most significant acts that has passed in decades and decades and decades, which is good news for housing. And so I just want to sort of get this information out there of if people are hearing about, okay, housing's been fixed. This act is now going to totally change everything. That's not the reality. The reality is what was planted was a seed, and we got to wait for this little flower to bloom. This is going to be a couple years in the making. But essentially what this act did was it is going to reduce some regulatory barriers for building more homes. That is going to help also limit some institutional investors, where people who are just buying up big single-family houses at scale. So that's going to
overseas investors coming here and buying up all our housing, and then renting them back to our fine folks. That's
correct.
Got to get rid of that.
Not
so
good.
Locally, the demand, the supply has not outpaced the demand. The demand here locally. Now, other parts of the country, it might have caught up significantly, but not here, and especially in the Midwest. It has not caught up. It's the resilient demand right now is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
And there's just no inventory. In one area, there is less than a 2-week supply right now on the market. So if you go in certain areas, especially in metropolitan Detroit, there are pockets that it's almost, I don't want to say impossible. You have to work really, really hard. And it's almost like you really have to know somebody, Michelle, and you could attest to this, to get an offer accepted.
Yeah. It's like when you just look at even median sales price, how much that's just been escalating year after year after year. There's no end in sight. So this Housing Act is
keep going with it.
Is intended to help expand inventory.
Yeah.
Because our prices have just been going up straight up in Michigan since 2011.
Yeah. Which at that point in time, if they can build enough houses and they can go ahead and I'll use the term, flood the market with more housing, that'll allow people to get in. It'll drop the prices.
Yep.
New construction. But, this is going to take a while. Like you said, this isn't going to happen tomorrow.
No.
Maybe, hopefully within 5 years it's going to happen. But right now, the millennials they're tough. It's tough finding a house for millennial buyers to purchase.
Yes.
And that's what the age group is. The average age right now for a first-time home buyer is still in the 37, 38-year-old range.
That's wild.
And as Becky will tell you, she bought her first house when she was 21.
Yeah. Pretty close to it. Yeah.
So it's tough, and that's we can't go back in history. No. You can't say, well, this is what it was like when I was buying my house, because those things are out the window. The home prices, you can't even equate it to it.
Right.
And we have inflation data from ever and ever and ever ago.
I do like a good ever and ever ago.
Yeah, and you just can't rely on that. You have to. It's in the here and now. If you're saying you're going to continue to wait, I'm going to wait till that act goes into full effect, Michelle.
Yeah.
You might not be buying a house for 5 years.
Like, I literally just this week did a market analysis for someone whose mother passed in 2019 and they didn't get that valuation done at time of death. And I was looking at home prices in Wyandotte, escalated $100,000 on this particular property since 2019.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it blows my mind. And what were we thinking in 2019? Oh, these prices. Well,
that was when the market started to turn.
That was before the rate drop.
Yeah.
Rates were probably hanging around 6 at that point.
Yep.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yes, they were.
So I'm like, and then they took that COVID dip, or whatever. And now here we are again.
So the average inflation rate in 2019
nutty.
was 1.8%. Last month, it was 3.5%.
Okay.
Now, and take a look at that. You're talking about what, almost 3 times the inflation rate. But I'm here to tell you, I don't believe, just like rates are not going to go down to 2.5%, 3%, I don't think that a 2% inflation rate is sustainable. And the Fed is going to have to, change their position on that because they want everything to go back to 2% annual inflation rate before they go ahead and allegedly drop the rates, drop the Fed funds rate. I don't see that. Listen,
No.
I certainly don't have connections at the Federal Reserve. I don't. I'm not on the radio saying that. Now, however, the data's the data. I mean, you could read, if you could read charts and understand the data, rates aren't going down to 3. It's
Right.
not
And
going to happen.
The only thing that's going to solve it, supply and demand. And this is a long-term game with this Housing Act that was passed, the Road to Housing.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time to see this manifest in the market. It's not going to drop rates. It's not going to be an instant fix. It's not like the government solved it at a, overnight
high level. Yeah.
You got to have also local municipalities catch up to what's coming down the
key.
line.
That's the key. And the builders don't want to build the inexpensive first-time home buyer house because of all the red tape and the cost involved. Now we get rid of the extra cost, remove the red tape. Again, it's going to take a couple years.
It's going to take a couple years.
But we'll see maybe more first-time home buyer houses.
Well, think about
not
it,
the 3,500 square feet.
There was a moment in time where it's we'll say 100, 150 was your typical first-time buyer. And I think you were on the show. I was going through my old
notes.
And we're talking about how the average first-time buyer is now going to be stepping into a $250,000, $300,000 price point, and that is the reality. And it's actually, some of them are even coming in a little bit more because people are buying a little bit later in life. We bought homes in our early 20s. There's still people very much buying their homes in early 20s, but they are buying more in their late 30s, almost early 40s for the first time. And so now they have that pay scale, they finished college, whatever their their decisions were, but it is different now. I mean, and it's almost difficult for those first time buyers that are the 80, 90, 100, 125, it's almost more difficult to find them housing that they can afford.
Yeah,
If that is
yeah.
a particular price point.
Yeah, I would love to see some change at the like federal level for there's like 55 and up, protected communities, like that's a protected class. But I'm like, what about the under 30 protected
Yeah.
class? Like there should
There
be
should be an
you know,
incentive for that. And there
something-
are, local incentives,
Right.
and Becky could talk about it. In the state of Michigan, we have nice first-time home buyer incentives. But, there are caveats to that in
Yes.
some of the programs.
There's a lot of tape.
You can only make a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
You have to have an X amount of credit score. You can't have a lot of assets. I mean, there are a lot of caveats to those programs. But, I think that it's a slippery slope because you want people to be able to afford the house because that's what happened in the 90s. All right. People were just buying houses and they wanted home ownership to be 66, 67, 68% of the population. And when it gets to a certain point, that drives up the delinquency ratio. I'm nerding out here on the numbers
No, this
because
is
that's what
good.
it is.
I'm like, I was.
It
No,
drives it.
Michelle
I wasn't
loves
in it in the
data.
90s.
Yeah.
It drives up. So we're right now
Yeah.
between 63 and 65%. When it gets 66 and over, all of a sudden, what happens? More people are in houses, and then more people don't end up paying. So there are more foreclosures. There's a lot you get when you have more.
Yeah.
More of everything isn't necessarily great, but
Yeah.
it's,
More money, more problems.
Yeah, true. No, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have that, but I'm a big believer in people still should qualify. People still should go ahead and live within their means. A house, I never believe a house payment is something you grow into. Again, I'll use this analogy. It's not a pair of pants. When you're 8, you buy your son or daughter an outfit and they grow into it a little bit or whatever. I mean, I understand the concept of growing into a payment, but you're never guaranteed that you're going to get that raise. You're never guaranteed that you're going to go ahead and have appreciation. We always say
Right.
that. So
When
Yeah.
buying a house, you have to be conservative. So I do agree with you. You don't go in there thinking that your life is going to expand. Sometimes you go in there knowing that you're living under your means, so that way when your
what you
life
can
does
afford.
expand, yes,
Yeah.
So when
go
your
to
life
sleep.
does expand,
Put
you
your head
get
on your
more
pillow.
comfortable. You don't get less comfortable. So, and that's often the strategy that we use when we are pre-approving somebody is, what can you afford now? Are we under your means? Are you going to be married to your house, not your spouse, or your spouse, not your house? And then we kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Young
That's good.
buyers are becoming a larger part of the population of buyers. There's no doubt about that. These Gen Z folks, 1 in 5 purchases they're buying. We'll talk about all that when we come back. You got gifts. We got all sorts of things that we can tell you about first-time home buyers. What you need to know. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us all week long, all weekend long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker, also powered by CMG Home Loans, equal housing lender. And we're NMLS 1820. So give us a call at 1-800-LOW-RATE. You'll definitely want to talk to people. Of course, I went ahead and bought. I never buy anything online. I don't know how you folks do this stuff. If you're clicking buttons online, I'm the guy that tells you don't do that. And I said, Michelle, in the parking lot, I'm like, Michelle, they're clicking on lines and they get, I don't want to throw the company under, I don't know this company. But
but why do you buy non-brand name stuff that you don't know? You got the stuff from way overseas, and the shirt's two sizes too small.
Because the marketing is that good. The marketing is
it's
good.
only if you believe it.
I know, but that's
what
the
do you
thing.
mean? If you
the guy in
believe
the ad, Harry, looked like he was 6'2". I'm like, hey, if I buy that shirt,
I'm going to look like that guy.
it's the same thing as buying housing. I mean, it's not all. You got to get a professional real estate agent. So the moral of the story is, I bought these shirts. They don't fit. Now I got to either give them to my brother or return them. You can't do that with a house, Michelle. How about getting a real estate agent you can meet, discuss your wants and needs, and put a plan together?
See, you purchased from a non-approved, non-vetted source.
Yeah.
And you clicked the buttons on the internet, which is what we tell
and
everybody not to do.
By the way, he didn't consult his team.
And then
he
3
didn't
weeks
ask
later,
anybody.
it shows up and it's not what you want.
Yeah, it's Garanimals. It's kitty size right now.
Yeah,
Harvey's wearing a shirt. Two sizes too small for him.
Heads up, if you do that with your real estate agent or a mortgage lender, if you just push some buttons and they're not vetted, you're going to get stuck with something you can't return, which is a bad mortgage, a bad experience.
The bad shirt analogy can turn into a bad house, Harry.
It's got to fit. You have to have a fit, right? You have to click with your realtor, your mortgage person, and tell them it's a relationship. Yours doesn't fit.
See?
If you're on Facebook Live, Harvey is flexing for everybody, and I don't think he looks that bad.
Too small.
It makes him look
bad,
jacked.
but he is.
Yeah,
so here's the gig. It doesn't look terrible, but you're uncomfortable with it.
Yes.
So if you're uncomfortable, make sure that
I needed a 3-bedroom house, not a 2-bedroom house. That's the key here. Don't click buttons online.
His shirt is a 2-bedroom house.
Sure. Let this be a lesson to the listening audience.
Yes.
Totally.
Don't just buy things online. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's really, really bad.
Sometimes it's very bad, and then you're stuck, and you can't. It's on a slow boat going back overseas, and you're never going to get a refund, and you're going to have to dispute
They're going
it.
to charge you $10 to return it, like you said.
That's right.
All right, home buyer mistakes. I made a mistake on buying these shirts online, but home buyer mistakes, Becky. When it's your time, I like when you always go with this. When it's your time to buy a house, it's your time. Now you need to sit down and put that plan together and do it ahead of time because you got some credit to take a look at your funds and other variables.
Yeah, listen, you're always one decision away from completely changing your life. And if homeownership is something that you want to do, you have to have the conversation. The days of, I found the house, now I want to put an offer in, you can't do that anymore because it is very, like we were talking in the first segment, it's extremely competitive in Michigan specifically. It is still very competitive across the nation, but you're going to miss out on those opportunities because if you're hesitant to let someone look at your credit, we could now be in a position where now I have to do some last minute fixing of things because you had this old medical collection that's $20 and dropped you 100 points and you had no idea because you just didn't want to pay the $20 collection because medical collections do affect you. At the same time, though, if you have your ducks in a row, you can literally talk to me at 1 p.m. and then have an offer accepted by 3 p.m. because that just happened on Friday.
That's right.
And so if we are prepared and you are organized, we can have you in a position of strength because and like we talked about as well, it does matter who's on that pre-approval letter sometimes because if it's me versus someone that's just a random person online and the other agent is familiar with Capital Mortgage Funding and me as a loan officer, we are going to be in a position of strength to get your offer accepted.
Well, that goes to the shirt analogy.
Yes,
right?
correct.
It goes to the shirt analogy. The shirt analogy is, why did you buy something that you don't know the brand or that you don't know the name of it?
Right.
It's the same thing in anything. If you're going to, Joe's Trunkier Car Mortgage, Joe could be the greatest guy in the world. I don't know Joe. But I do know Capital Mortgage Funding because they've been around over 36 years or however long they've been around. I've heard of them. And I just, if I'm going to flip a coin, I'm going to go with somebody that I've heard of, that I know, and that I could call up. And they've been around the block, and they've been in my neighborhood, and they know the streets, they know the houses. And again, Joe, you're out there. I know you are. I know you're listening, and you're going to, badmouth me. But nobody's ever heard of you, bro.
That's
I'm sorry about that.
And here's the gig. you spent $75 on a shirt. You're going to be spending
3 shirts.
Okay.
No.
If you buy 2, you got the third one
He
free.
got the $20 special.
Yeah, I got the 20.
We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars when,
Yeah.
when you're talking about real estate and mortgages.
Uh-huh.
So this is a different animal. You shouldn't be treating it like a shirt.
Cavalier, correct.
Right.
So
I
cavalier
do.
about
I
it.
do agree with you. I
Right.
feel like people, like they'll be more like into a car lease or a new car loan.
Yeah.
They don't really think twice about what they're paying, how they're paying it. But when it comes to a mortgage, right, they just don't look at my credit, don't do this. And you kind of put us in a little bit of a predicament sometimes when we're trying to get these things fixed. But, people go all over the place and be like, I'm going to buy this car and I'm going to have 5 different people pull my credit because somehow they're going to save me $5 by doing that. But then on the mortgage side of things, it's like they're very like, no, don't pull my credit. And I couldn't possibly.
Right.
I couldn't
I
possibly
like
let you pull my
that.
credit.
Becky.
$200 more in a car payments, roughly $30,000 in buying power. Let's say that again there. $200 in a car payment. So you got a $600 car payment or an $800 car
And a
payment.
house for a house.
Correct,
You,
yes.
you translate that to housing. $200 equals about $30,000 in buying power in today's marketplace. Buy that house that's a little bit nicer. Now you don't have to put in the AC unit. You don't have to put in the new roof because these things are done. So a lot of times we'll sit with clients that don't have a ton of money. We stretch them out and it's a better purchase because they're not buying a money pit.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. I mean, to get into something that is far more affordable, but like what you're saying, I mean, if you put it into perspective, if you started off with $100 and you lose $100 and you're down to 0, that hurts a lot. But if you started off with $1,000 and now you're down to $900, it doesn't feel like it hurts that much. It's the same $100.
Yes.
You're just looking at it through a different lens. And I think a lot of times people don't want to open up and really look at their own finances and their own
Yes.
credit because they're afraid of what they might see. And
Correct.
it's just a matter of like, okay, which lens are you looking at?
Yeah.
Which
It's
way are you choosing to
understandable,
see
but
this?
people are not, they're not really in tune with their finances. If they're nickel and diming their housing expense versus paying 18 to 24% on a credit card.
Yes.
So we get this all the time, Michelle. We get, they see online, at the place Harvey bought his shirts from, the person is doing mortgages and they see some erroneous interest rate.
Yeah.
And then they'll call us up and they'll say, well, why is your rate at 6.49? And when I can get 3%? Well, first of all, you can't get 3% unless you pay for 3%. And second of all, we're going to take care of you. We're going to go over the plan for you. But you know what? You've got a $30,000 balance on your MasterCard and Visa, and you're paying 18 to 24%. You should be concerned about paying that down, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's really wrecking you. That's an all-time wreck if you keep rolling that over. Because that dinner that you went out and you took, you went out for dinner and maybe combined it cost you $100. If you're rolling that over every month, you're paying now 18 to 24% more for that same dinner
Yeah.
that you did, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
think about that.
The cost of money.
So you're talking about really getting your priorities and having your team set up so they can analyze it for you and then setting you up for what, Becky? Success.
And the other thing too is back to the car payments, because it's always been a thing for me because that does have a direct correlation in line to what someone qualifies
Yes.
for, right? So people are driving around in cars, like car payments, like and it's a house, right? They're driving around, their car is a house payment, and then they want to buy this. We'll ask them like, okay, if you could pick a price point, what would it be? I want to buy a $300,000 house. Okay. And then you look at it and they're paying $1,200 on a car lease, or it's multiple cars that are in their name that leads up to that. And now they can only afford $150,000. And I have to figure out like someone else making these, payments and things like that. So before you co-sign for somebody or anything of that nature, and you want to buy a house as well, you need to talk to a high-level loan officer that's going to kind of analyze those things for you so we can find solutions, because that does disqualify people quite often, and I don't feel like we talk about that enough.
I'm gonna say this: we're not here as professionals to judge. We're here
Correct.
to help, and I think that people have a lot of fear that you're gonna open up their Pandora's box and they're gonna I'm gonna be judged for my credit card debt. I'm gonna be judged for my car payment. I know that these things need to be recalibrated for affordability.
Correct.
But that's not the goal. We see all kinds of stuff from all walks of life, and everything happens with some sort of logic behind it. So it's for us
And
to
we
put
all
you in a
started
position
somewhere
to win.
as well, and so we're coming from a place of helping and empathy and understanding that like there was someone that once didn't maybe teach me something that I wish I would have known faster, right? So like we kind of put that foot
Yeah.
forward.
If there's a way to get it done,
Yeah.
and we'll help you get it done. If there's a way to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and there's sometimes a lot. Sometimes, when you drop that egg and you break the egg and the shell and the yolk goes all over the place, sometimes, we got to clean it up and put it back together. And that's what we do. And that's what any good person in any industry does. They're there to solve the problem. So we have a saying, it's just, what's the problem? Identify the problem and then fix it. Don't blame it. Just fix it.
Right.
Just get me what I need to fix it, and we'll fix it. So,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the commentary. I don't want to hear the stories. Just do what we ask you to do, please, and thank you. Just please, and we'll help you fix it. So.
That's right.
Getting prepared for home ownership. And again, Becky, like you said, that you might co-sign for your children, and then you're thinking about buying a house. And we get later in life, it's debt to income ratio. We can cram those numbers for you. But again, we can show you ways. If your kid's making the payment, have them write the check. You can co-sign for your kids. Have them write the check. Have that money coming out of their bank account. That way we can show that the debt doesn't count against you.
Correct.
So a lot of helpful tips out here. Keep it on 97.1 Ticket. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 26th year. 248-539-9797. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Michelle Saward, that's her over there, eXp Realty. You're always getting awards and stuff, but what you said is the best, Michelle, that you're just a trusted, again, recognized as one of the trusted real estate office, not the largest office, you call them the mid-size offices. You got a great group of 10 solid agents and always giving professional advice all across Southeast Michigan.
Yes.
And you guys will go anywhere. You dip in Ohio too, because I know you got some team members in there.
I do people in my organization that are also licensed in Ohio. Yes. And Real Trends magazine just came out and we were vetted as being, the market leader in our area. So that's very exciting news that we're still continuing to dominate and, have that verification and support. But what I wanted to share here, coming back in from the break, is that inventory. Not inventory. I'm sorry. Inventory again is it's at a 5-year high. Now, don't get excited. We all just said we have low inventory, so these numbers are not fantastic. But because what this is showing is also seems counterintuitive. The median sales price in all of our local MLS in Metro Detroit.
Yeah.
This is one of the highest I've seen. It's at $309,000. So that went up pushing 5% from last year. It's like 4.8 higher than this time last year. So if you think about that rate of home prices, it's pretty crazy what's going on.
All right, we're going to keep our calls here. We have open lines, 248-539-9797. Let's move off to our first call this morning. Hey, Roger out in Madison Heights. Good morning, Raj. What's going on?
Not much. I have a quick question for you. My mom had a ladybird deed on her house. She passed away, and she still owes like $50,000 on the house. I can't get a mortgage because my credit's shot. What's my next move?
Do you have a family? Are you trying to get a mortgage to do what, home improvements to the house?
Can I still pay her mortgage off even though she's passed away?
Yeah.
You're on the ladybird deed.
Yeah.
You're on the ladybird deed, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that goes into effect after, someone is deceased, right? So now you have ownership interest in that property. So you now are a owner that you've technically inherited. So you don't necessarily need to get a mortgage, right? Because you have it now free and clear, I'm assuming?
No, $50,000.
Oh, $50,000. Oh,
Yeah.
$50,000. Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that part.
What's the value of the property, Roger?
$300,000.
Okay.
But I want to live there. I don't want to sell it.
No, I understand.
The payments,
I understand that. The question I have for you, you think your credit is shot. Have you had it pulled? Have you had him talk to anybody? You could take a look at it. We don't charge for that. But also, you could probably do, if we could get it for you, a home equity loan to do what you need to do as well. But, everybody thinks that their credit is either way better than it is or way worse than it is. So, we would encourage you to, have somebody take a look at it.
And the good news is you could just make the payment.
The question I have is, if it is shot, her mortgage company or any mortgage company would be all right with me taking over her payments?
100%.
All you have to do, first of all you have to do is send that check in every month.
Yep.
Nobody's going to know.
That's right.
So you just make the payment. As long as the payment is made, nobody's going to question it.
You can even send the mortgage company a copy of her death certificate, your ladybird deed.
Yep.
They will just transfer the mortgage over into your name. Don't miss a payment. Can carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So just
it.
if you want to do the proper way is the ladybird deed, death certificate, and then we'll call you after the show. We'll do a soft pull on the credit, because sometimes what you feel is air quotes your credit shot. You might still qualify. So if you wanted to pull money out of the house to make some upgrades or home improvements or whatever it is, we might be able to do that, or set up a game plan of a timeline of what that would look like for you to do that. Is it 6 months out? Is it 12 months out? So that way you can kind of have an idea of, okay, I'm living here now. I want to make it a little bit more of my own.
Yep.
I want to transform the property, and then we can kind of get that in play for you as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the call.
People are always scared. Yeah, that's the best thing, that the house is in your name because you did the ladybird deed or you did something in a trust.
Yeah.
That someone's deceased, that house, if you make the house payments, no one's coming after you or taking that house
What a
away.
great call, because you could hear we just gave a sense of relief to that guy, that called in, Roger, that just called in.
Yeah.
And Roger, what I said, I just want to reiterate, is, to the listeners out there, if you can mail in a copy of that death certificate to the mortgage company with a copy of the ladybird deed and say, hey, my name is Roger and I am now the sole owner because my mother or whoever it was passed. Great. Continue to make the payments. Carry on. He doesn't need to requalify.
No.
There's nothing
Correct.
he needs to do besides alert the mortgage company.
Yeah.
I'm the responsible party now.
The only trigger that could get people in trouble is if they don't make the payment.
You're right.
And then that throws up all kinds of red flags. You're going to get notices in the mail. You're going to get phone calls and everything like that. But you got to continue to make that payment.
And I would say to Roger too, I would check with the local municipality, because only owing $50,000 when there's over $200,000 in equity or something that he said there, she might have her taxes paid separate and not included in the payment. So he doesn't want to get behind on property taxes either, because we don't know how long since she's passed.
And that should show on the statement too.
Double check your statement.
Yeah, check the statement. It should
Check it
have
out.
taxes, insurance on there. If they're on there, if they're not, you're going to get tax bills directly sent to the house, as well as the insurance bill.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to keep up with all that. You have to keep up with not only the mortgage payment, but the city and county taxes and the homeowner's insurance.
Yeah.
Because all those can trigger some notification that, obviously the payments aren't being made.
Houston, we got a problem here. Yeah, exactly. So, but what Becky said, I think, was really great, is that if he wants to, have a phone call afterwards, because when you inherit properties, typically there's deferred maintenance. Look, sometimes people have been sick for a while, or, their money is being allocated towards a fixed income, or who knows what. There may be some things that he wants to do. And, if he wants to get that payment where it's a little bit more, maybe manageable and include some home repairs or whatever it is, where there's a will, there's a way. And we just talked about this right before he called in. It's about taking a look at what is credit shot, what needs to be fixed.
What does that mean? Because absolutely.
Yes. And set them up for success. And even if it takes a year, who cares?
Always reach out too. I like that. The cities will offer you some money. I knew in the past, different cities around town, I'm not going to start dropping cities' names, but they had, if you want to do home improvements, put a new roof on the house. They didn't want blight in their neighborhood. It keeps everyone's values down if you start getting a nasty house going, you don't want to fix it up. So yes, the cities do have, you can reach out to them, find out if there's some additional money. They give you a 0 interest free loan, maybe to do a roof or a sewer line. Maintenance, like you said, deferred maintenance from maybe an older person who just didn't have the extra money.
I also have met companies, if you're thinking of selling, I know companies that will, haul away your junk and, and put if you don't have the cash up front to be able to prepare your home for sale, they will take it out of the proceeds at close. Another company that will do that with roofing, because we know for a buyer to qualify for a mortgage, they can do that. So if you're a home seller who's a little bit strapped for cash, if you're looking for like some sort of solutions, cash buyers who can purchase a property as is, do a little bit of repairs or maintenance and kind of clean up before it goes to the market. These are where the kind of phone calls like Roger made are so helpful, because it's all about setting yourself up for success and getting the options that are in front of you so that you can make an educated decision.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. That's why you need to make a call. That's why you need to have your team. And that's why we will do it at no charge for you. We will put you in touch with those people. And I think it's wonderful that you can set somebody up like that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about mortgage rates for a second. All right, mortgage rates have held steady throughout the summertime. You might get a blip down, a blip up right now, but they're in the mid 6s right now.
Yep.
And everybody's looking for the Federal Reserve to make a move, and we just don't see it right now. We talk about inflation. Inflation is the driver for mortgage interest rates. It's not when you see the Fed funds rate lowering or raising. It certainly doesn't help when prices of things are continuously going up. And all you have to do is take a look at your gas prices. They were down a little bit. Mortgage rates didn't go down that much. They went up. Mortgage rates didn't go up that much. Your groceries are costing you more. Mortgage rates are staying steady. And we talk about this historically. Mortgage rates in the mid 6s, historically, everybody, are low. If that's what's keeping you right now from buying a house, if you want to buy a house and you can qualify for a house, a mid 6s interest rate is a good rate. And when I say that, the proof is people are out there buying houses. They're not waiting, Becky. They're not waiting.
No.
Well, even we'll say 6.5 is a great rate versus paying $2,000 for a rental, and then you get a letter that they're selling the property and you have to get out. So I will take a 6.5 interest rate over a $2,000 rental that I don't have any stability and I don't have any say of how long I can stay in that property.
Yeah.
When you own the property, that's yours now. You're parking your car in your own driveway versus somebody else's, and there's nothing stopping a seller from selling their property. Now you have to find something and you weren't prepared. So now we're working backwards because now you have 30, 45 days to get out of a property and we have to fix a lot of things. So if at any point in the next 5 years, I would say even 24 months, if home ownership is something that you want to do, have a conversation with somebody, even like Roger. What you feel is bad credit might not be bad credit to us. We are not here to judge. We're here to set you up for success. We're here to come up with a path of home ownership that is working for you. Your GPS is different than your cousin's, mother's, brother's, sister's dog. Okay, what's going to get you where you're trying to go? So have the deep dive conversation and come up with the plan. I mean, even Michelle, like you go all in with your people. I mean, because you've done it all. You have real estate, you have rentals, like you have a team of real estate agents. You've made everything from scratch multiple times. Okay.
Yes.
Multiple. You've lived like 88 lives over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Professionally, personally. So, when you're reaching out with your hand extended, it's coming from a place of empathy and understanding because I've done that before. And I maybe made that mistake and I'm going to try to prevent you from making that same one.
Yeah. It's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Like I'm not a person that just armchair quarterbacks it and says, you know what, I got a good idea for you. A lot of the time it's because we've been there.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've all had to grind. Like I cracked a joke the other day and I was like, thank God at this point in my life, I'm now the big 5-0. I was like, thank God that I at least have elevated my floor a little bit because it took me a long time to build those floorboards. But everybody's starting somewhere.
But
right?
don't you find everything's not an emergency now where everything was an emergency before? Now you've gone through all those experiences.
That's a good way to put it.
And you know how to navigate through those experiences. So it's not the sky is falling in an emergency.
No. There's
You've been through it. You know what the resolutions are. You know what the pitfalls are down the road. So you can probably counsel and advise people on what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's, when people say experience is the greatest teacher, that's what it is. Because unless you go through whatever you're going to go through, how can you properly guide somebody?
You can't. You absolutely cannot. So it's like, you may click some buttons and find a fancy, looking shirt or whatever online that looks good. And this company's been around for 90 days. or
Back to my shirt that's too tight. Sorry about that.
I love Harvey is now turned into self-deprecating Harvey. Because normally he gets sensitive, and then like 2 days later on Monday morning, I'll get the wrath of Harvey because of something that was said on Saturday.
Oh no, you're okay.
Here's the thing.
So I like self-deprecating Harvey.
It's been a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's been a great analogy.
We use it as an analogy. Hey, let's go back to housing because it's definitely the inventory is improving a little bit, but it's not going to be you make one offer. So we got the music here. All right, when we come back, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on this. Michelle, it's not 20 offers on the house, but there's still 3 or 4 other offers, and you better have your ducks in a row. Let's talk a little bit about those offers and some strategies right when we come back. 248-539-9797. Keep it here. All righty, welcome back to the show, 845, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Keep it here on 97.1. We got a ton of sports coming up. Tiger baseball today. And of
Saw
course,
the godfather of sports in here.
Stoney's
Did you see
walking
him?
around.
Stoney
Yeah, he's
himself.
around.
I saw Stones in here.
Got a little Tiger victory last night. I only caught a quick highlight.
Yeah, 2-1.
Okay,
It was
we'll
good.
take it.
Yeah, we'll take the win.
What was it, a base hit?
Yeah, they might. It was a double. They might go ahead and talk about on the sports show after this because that's pretty important.
They may
They
go
might
ahead and talk
talk about that,
sports.
but they might talk about how it affects the Tigers with them contending and not trading a certain pitcher. But I'm of the belief that you need to win games now. I'm a big believer in win now, and you can never tell an athlete not to win. How do you tell an athlete not to win? You're a competitor. You go out and win, but I digress. Sorry about that.
No problem. All right, for all your real
Sorry about
estate, we'll take your calls. 248-539-9797. As always, Michelle Saward, eXp Realty. Michelle, we're talking always about inventory, some first-time opportunities out there. We do a lot of the down payment assistance programs for these first-time home buyers, but they also need some money because, there's not, as we mentioned, there's not 20 offers on the house, but there are 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some tricks out there. You could offer to pay the sellers. You can get real complicated. I saw an offer that said we were going to pay the seller's closing costs, but it wasn't spelled out a dollar amount, so it got a little vague.
Yeah.
Highest and best is still going to get you that house typically.
Yeah, sellers are still winning in this
Okay,
market. It's
okay.
still very much a seller's market. Look, if
They
you
have all the leverage still.
Yeah, they have
some
all,
of it.
They do. They have all the
Okay,
leverage.
they
And
do.
so what shifted 2 years ago was that buyers are now hiring their own buyer's agent and responsible for the commission. Now, it sounds scary, but typically a real estate agent will ask the seller to compensate buyer's agents, for bringing them the offer and putting together the deal. That's a very normalized thing that's still happening. So that said, if you really want to be competitive as a buyer, if you're in a position where you can afford to pay your own buyer's agent, great. That's a couple percentage points right there that are going to be to your favor if you can afford to do that and pay for that out of your own pocket. That's going to give you an advantage over maybe another buyer. If you're a buyer, like you said, that needs some help with closing costs or you need some fees covered, like I said, normally we will ask the seller to pay for the realtor's fees so that doesn't have to come out of your pocket. That's another thing you can do. But there's all kinds of creative things that you can do. Like some things people don't think of is asking sellers to waive tax prorations. What the heck is Michelle Saward talking about? It
That's
means,
old school stuff.
I know. I'm
man.
taking it back to the old school.
That's
26
early.
years, girl.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. 26
love
years.
it.
But so the sellers prepay your property taxes. Your winter, your summer bills come
Right.
out. You pay them forward into 2027. So the seller has a tax credit at the time of closing. More often than not, unless of course there's a delinquency issue. More
Right.
often than not, they have
They
a
get
credit.
some money back, yeah.
Right. So the buyer has to pick up their property taxes at the point of close because it's their house now. They're going to live in it. They got to pay the taxes. And that's an additional fee to the buyer at closing. So if you, as a buyer, one of the strategies you can employ is to ask the seller, hey, don't take the credit back on your property taxes. Let that ride. It'll buy you a couple months of getting you in the door and making that payment just a little bit more affordable. You know what I mean? For the first couple months of ownership, however long that may be.
But you
I mean,
still
here
got
we
to be
are.
highest and best, most likely.
still gotta be.
Highest and best at the end of the
That
day.
could be a couple extra bucks in your pocket that could help reduce, some of your
Michelle,
cash to
I'm going to
close.
ask you this question because I think it matters. I want to hear your opinion on it. Occupancy.
Yeah.
Free occupancy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that'll win the day, right? 30,
could.
60 days max. I mean,
Yep. 60 days max because you don't want to screw with the buyer's mortgage.
Correct.
But, if
Yes,
you, as
good
a seller,
answer, Michelle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good answer. That's the book answer right there. That's the answer by the book.
Your contract cannot
I like
say more
that.
than 60 days.
Thank
That's
you.
What
right.
you do after the fact could be okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
then if you're trying to do a rent back as a seller for more than 60 days, it can totally change the dynamic of the buyer's mortgage because then they're going to see that and it's going to look like they're buying a second home.
Correct.
And the buyers are applying for like a primary owner occupant situation. So that's why we just try to be mindful of the occupancy post close. But yes, giving a seller some free occupancy, very commonplace here in Michigan.
Right.
Other states, nutty. People have to give keys at closing on the regular. Like some of my friends in North Carolina, shout out. I don't know how you guys do it. People move into hotels and
Yeah.
it's just a whole different set of circumstances. Not that way in Michigan.
No.
I feel like people do give
we're
a little
very
bit grace.
friendly.
Yeah, we
We're
give
very-
grace.
Yeah, very friendly to sellers here in Michigan.
Well, everything's negotiated. Maybe they're just, thinking it's a hard line. Maybe a lot of out-of-state buyers moving to the North Carolina. I don't, for whatever reason.
It's just normalized in that market to be hard lined.
Yeah, I think it is. I think a seller in other markets, they want to sell the place so bad that they're saying, we'll get out at closing. Where here in Michigan, it's really a seller's market, and you say, hey, we want to stay at closing for X amount of days. So, it's market to market. It's buyer-seller transaction. And that's what's happening. But I believe that if you make it easy right now for the seller, you're still going to have to pay. Yep. Sometimes, Michelle, I'm seeing what we're seeing on our PAs, our purchase agreements, that they're going for over list.
Oh, yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of competitive situations where they're going over list.
Yeah. I met with a home seller yesterday and had this conversation that, look, he's like, hey, I want to price it at, whatever he said, $250,000. And I was saying, look, if we put it at 2.25, then you're going to be driving traffic and it will get bid up and it might hit $250,000. Like, it's very, very possible that could happen. But if you price it at $250,000, buyers have been trained to pay full price or better, or they're not going to get the house. So you're going to limit the number of buyers that are coming in the door. And odds are you might be negotiated down because your days on market will extend.
Yeah, we've seen that strategy a lot. We have, but we also have seen strategy where sellers will go in, and if it's a seller, seller's market, they're going to bid $100,000 over.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say, why don't you start at 50,000 over?
And see
okay. And it's really, situational. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's amazing out there.
But on the opposite side, there is that old school, where you hear me say old school, like there are, some buyer transactions where there's concessions, they're max concessions, or we're getting the seller to waive those tax expirations, meaning that they're covering the tax bill for technically the buyer. And it's helpful for the first time buyers, more specifically, because if that summer tax bill came out, like I had one personally that I came across my desk where the tax bill came out July 1st, we had it all buttoned up, ready to go. And then the new summer tax bill came out and it was non-homestead. The taxes just went through the roof, and then we had to hurry up and recalibrate to the homestead taxes. But then you still have to then they still wanted to prorate the seller taxes on the non-homestead. And that have messed with our cash to close and things like that. So it's like, there's some of these transactions are so tight that even $18 increase will throw everything out of whack, and you have to totally redo everything. So, and you can't do anything about the tax bill. We try to anticipate what they're going to be, but once that comes out on July 1st, I'm like, well, here it is now, and we're dealing with it.
And the summer tax bill is typically the big tax bill.
Yes,
the winter
in
tax bill
specifically, yes.
Yeah, the summer tax bill is usually the bigger one.
Our taxes are wild in Michigan, I will say that, in comparison to like the South.
Oh no, I have a friend in Alabama. She's like, I done got my tax bill. It was $400. I about had a heart attack. I said, for the month? And she goes, not God, no, the year. And she has like a gentleman's farm. She has horses and stuff. And I'm like, how many acres do you have for $400 a year? What are you? It's crazy.
Yes, I do.
Thanks for bringing it up, guys, because those summer tax bills did come out on July 1st. Now, remember that even if you have an escrow account, you do get the bill sent to your house. So put that away and file it, but also you can double check with your servicer of your loan. Make sure that it indicates that your summer tax bill was paid. So maybe take a look at your August and your September payment. When they send you the payment coupon back, it should show that money came out of your escrow account. Double check that.
If you do have a tax escrow account, meaning you pay your taxes and insurance in your payment, the notification will come to your house. It will say, this is not a bill. This is a notification. It will say right on there, halfway down on the left side, this is not a bill. I still like the calls. I still want you calling me, but right there it'll say, this is not a bill on there if you read it. And for those of you who are paying your own taxes, which if you're really good with money, there's two schools of thought here. If you're really good with money and you're disciplined, pay your own taxes and your own insurance. All right. If you're not disciplined, and you should have a tax escrow account, so that way you don't have to worry about it. So, A, there's a convenience factor or an inconvenience factor. B, there's a discipline or an undisciplined factor. You've got to know, because A, nobody likes coming up with 3 payments if you don't have to. If you want, if it's more convenient to pay it in the payment, fine. However, my feeling is don't let anybody else hold your money if you're good with your own money. Keep your money. Your money's your money.
Yeah, well, an escrow account is a non-interest bearing account. So technically no one's really making money on that money. So if you are disciplined enough and you can manage that, keep the money in your bank, make the interest on that money, and when it's time to write the check.
But if you're not and you don't want to worry about it, put it in your payment.
Right.
Correct.
That's right.
All right,
Yep.
a couple things we talked about today. Mortgage rates always mortgage and real estate, Joe. Expect continued volatility in the marketplace. There's no doubt about that. Major moves either way. I don't really see it happening. We'll sit around and see what the next couple months brings us, obviously. And then the inventory we touched on. Definitely.
Yeah.
There's homes out there, but some of them are stinkers. We've talked about that in the last couple previous shows. Michelle, just a couple of last words here. We're running out of time.
Yeah. Well, I just, I feel like we've had this conversation so many times, and just letting the listeners be well advised. It's not going to get cheaper, folks.
Yeah.
Like, not for a very, very long time. I just said $100,000 escalation in price since 2019 in just Wyandotte, Michigan. Like, just a little, like it's wild. There is not a better time. And of course, you can look at the market and you can say, oh, everything is expensive. But there is not a better time to just get your foot in the door, lock it in. The market's going to do what it's going to do. Where do you want to be when the market does what it does?
Yeah. 2018 is when the market started to turn on the seller side. And here we are going on almost 10 years of it being where it's like just been escalating even more so. So throw your hat in the ring, give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to assist you and come up with a game plan.
Live your life, live happy.
Thanks for listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. They got sports all day long on 97.1 The Ticket. For Harry Glanz, Becky Allen, Michelle Saward, eXp Realty, I'm Harvey Freed. We'll see you next Saturday. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.